It's obvious, isn't it? We're just throwing the league so that we can win the Champions League, right? But no, Tottenham 2, Dortmund 0. We did what we had to do in that second half. It was uninspiring, and Porro, just make your mind up, son. Are you going to square it? You're going to lever it? Sort of dwelled on the ball. That would have been nice to just finish the game off 3-0. But look, Christian Romero, the first 15 minutes, we got that goal. I think we were more than good for that lead as well. It was just nice to have a bit of tempo. I feel like the players just have this release. Europe has become this almost escape from the reality of the Premier League. And we were good for that 1-0 lead. As for the red card, I'm not a fan of these sort of red cards. I think you can tell within the context of the game what he's trying to do. He's just lost possession of the ball, sort of outstretched, just trying to do what he can to maybe delay Wilson Odobert. You put a still image on that one and it's reckless. It was like similar with Johnson as well. I don't like these reds. I felt a bit sorry for Svensson. And it just kind of takes the gloss off a little bit because then it becomes all about Dortmund being down to 10 men. But in some instances, that can make the game harder. Look, most of what was good about Tottenham happened in the first half. I think we just ground out that result in the second half. We did what we had to do. Jed Spence was impressive, and what an interesting proposition for Thomas Frank now. Out on that left, it just felt like he had a new lease of life. He was kind of let loose, and he was enjoying beating his man. I think Spence was very good tonight. And not just Jed Spence, there were other performers on the pitch who I think stood out. I think we noticed Lucas Bergvall going off because him and Archie Gray were doing fantastic in that middle, and they were just producing a mature performance. And as I say, it was a shame to see Bergvall go off. I hope it's not serious, but him and Archie Gray, yeah, fair play to them two tonight. For me, Xavi Simons was the standout across the pitch because look, everything that was good about Tottenham come through Xavi Simons, not just his ball playing ability. He was desperate to score. He was unlucky not to get on a score sheet, but at times he would pick the ball up in difficult situations. He always showed for the ball. He would spread play, switch play, and I think for me, someone like that, if you can keep him confident, it gives you a fighting chance of just bridging that gap between the midfield and the attack and feeling like we had a bit more fluidity. Even keeping a clean sheet isn't something to be sniffed at because Dortmund aren't exactly goal shy. I know they were disappointing tonight and Andrew had that red card fairly early on, so of course that's going to knock the stuffing out of you. But Danso was a rock. Christian Romero's got on a score sheet again. Udogie covered Spence very well. And Porro, when he comes inside, and he's an option, and he's someone who can find these long-range passes. Yeah, I think defensively, it's a good thing. As much as Vicario was shaky, every single time he gets the ball, you think he's going to make a mistake. I think a clean sheet is something that is also an additional bonus. Spurs fans, anyway, what were your thoughts on tonight's game? It was nice to see Dominic Solanke play and get on the score sheet, although that was the most horrific goal I think I've ever seen. But it was funny. Kolo Muani coming on, shades of that World Cup final miss when he was through on goal, like he just sort of froze. I know he's tried to go through the goalkeeper's legs, right? But it just felt like it was all set up to round the goalkeeper and knock it home. So there was a few nervy moments at the end. But ultimately, it's a good win. What are we up to? 5th? Something in the Champions League? Can we get into those qualification spots and not have to go for a playoff? I don't know. But anyway, let me know your thoughts.